Okay, this lesson is on factoring trinomials, and I want to do the type that have a plus sign at the end. The sign in the middle can be positive or negative, but I'm going to focus on the plus sign today. Trinomials factor into two binomials. Now this type will have an x in both parentheses. Okay, the plus sign at the end, here's what it means. It means you're adding two numbers to get the middle term. Alright, so what we're going to be doing in just a few minutes is listing the factors, listing two numbers that multiply to be something, and then adding them up to see if they will equal the number in the middle of the trinomial. Now, the sign in the middle tells me that in the parentheses, the signs will be the same. Notice, if it's a plus sign in the middle, they're both plus signs. If it's a minus sign in the middle, they're both minus signs. When we put the numbers in the parentheses, it won't matter which number goes where. It's just the parentheses are going to have those two numbers. But the whole thing is plus sign at the end means they're both the same, and the sign in the middle tells you what the sign will be in the parentheses. Now, in order to do this, what we're going to do is list all factor pairs of a number, and it's the number at the end. Now, if there's a plus sign in front of the number, wow, I think this is probably obvious. If there's a plus sign in front of the number, it's positive. Now, in order to get a positive number, you either multiply two positives or you multiply two negatives. This is important. If we're listing the factor pairs of a number and the number is positive, we have to list them first as all positives. Then we have to turn around and list them all negatives. So you will first list them as positives, and then you turn around and list them as negatives, because all of those numbers multiply to be something. That first example, all the numbers, factor pairs of those numbers, of 12 equal, multiply those together, I get 12. 36, all of those multiply to give me positive 36. 6, all of those pairs multiply to give me positive 6. So it's important to list the positive and the negatives. Super important. Now, I want to practice doing that. Now, how I list the factors, I just start with the number 1 and the number itself. And then I'll check 2. 2 is an 18 9 times. Then we'll check 3. Then we can check 4. We can check 5. But that's all of the factor pairs, the positive numbers of 18. Then we have to turn around and list them with negative signs. All of these numbers multiply to be positive 18. 32. List all the numbers that are positive. Oh, was that 14? No, I'm doing a 32, y'all. Whoops. Let's see. 4 and 8. And it ain't 18, it's 16. Duh, I can't subtract it. I can't divide, y'all. 16, 4, and 8. Then we turn around and list them as both with negative signs. Alright. Let's look at 24. 1 and 24. 2 and 12. 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and then turn around and list them with negative signs. Alright, 7 would just be 1 and 7, negative 1 and negative 7. So it's important to list them all as positives, and then turn around and list them all as negatives. Alright. So make sure you get them all. Alright, now, how to factor them. They're going to factor, these types are going to factor like this. You'll have an x and an x. Now, notice plus sign at the end means the sign in the parentheses will be exactly the same. They'll either both be positive or they'll both be negative. Well, this sign tells me whether they're positive or negative. In this case, they are both going to be positive. While I'm over here, we'll just do this one the same way. It's going to be an x and an x. The sign at the end is positive. So the signs in the middle are exactly the same, and this sign tells me what to put in the parentheses. Plus and a plus. I mean, yeah, plus and plus. Now, look at the number at the end and look at the number in the middle. I want to find the factors of 6 that add up to be 7. Here's the best way to do this. Take 6 and list out the factors of 6. Oops. List them as positive and list them as negative. Oh, that should be 3. Now, I want the pair that adds up to be 7. Now, look at the first pair. 1 plus 6 is 7. So we would put the numbers 1 and 6 in the parentheses. It would probably be a good idea if you added those numbers. That gives me 7, that's 5, that's negative 7, and that's negative, negative 7 and negative 5. It might be a good idea to add them so you can see which numbers work. Alright. Let's come over here to the second one, and let's take 24. And let's list all the factors of 24. 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Oh, let's do negative 1, negative 24, 2, negative 12, 8. Now, I'm looking for the pair adds up to be 11. Well, let's go add these up and see what we come up with. Well, that's going to give me 25. That's going to give me 14. That's going to give me 11. Hey, I just found it. Look at there. These two numbers add up to be 11. So those are the two numbers that go in the parentheses. Alright, let's do this. Same deal. It's going to factor like this. X and an X. X and an X. Again, the sign at the middle, at the end is positive. So the sign are going to be the same. And the sign in the middle tells me what to put in the parentheses. Both of them are plus signs. Same thing on this example. They're both plus signs. Now, I'm going to list all the factors of 36, both positives and negatives. 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. Then we turn around and list them with negative signs. Negative 2, negative 18, negative 3, negative 12, negative 4, negative 9, negative 6, negative 6. I'm looking for 13. I want to go through here and find the pair that adds up to be 13. Well, let's just add them up and see what we get. 37, 20, 15, 13. I just found the pair that gives me 13. So we put a 4 in one and a 9 in the other. And it doesn't matter if the 9 goes first or the 4 goes second. That has nothing to do with anything. Just put those two numbers in the parentheses. Alright, let's do 18. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, and list them as negatives. Now I'm looking for the pair that adds up to be 9. 3 and 6 give me the 9, so the 3 and the 6 go in the parentheses. So you can always check your answer by doing the FOIL method. That works, so you can check it just to make sure. Alright, let's do 2 more that have a plus sign at the end. And they have plus signs in the middle. Alright. Now this one has 72. 72's got a lot of factors, so you got to be careful. Let's go through 72. 1, 72, 2 and 36, 3 and 18, no, 3 and 24. 4 and 18, 6 and 12, 8 and 9. Now, I'm going to stop right there because I'm looking for positive 17. These give me positive 17. So I've already found it. So we can just go, once you find the two numbers, you can put them in parentheses. You don't have to keep listing out everything. But it's just good practice to list everything out until you get used to this. Now, let's take number 9. Let's take this one with the 10 at the end. Now, I want to show you, there's only there's two factors of 10. 1 and 10, 2 and 5, negative 1 and negative 10, negative 2 and negative 5. I'm looking for the pair that adds up to be 9. Well, if I go through here and add these, they don't equal negative 9. Well, what in the world? They don't equal positive 9. So what am I supposed to do if I can't find one that works? Okay. There's a word when we're factoring that means cannot find the answer. And that word is prime. Prime means it cannot factor. Now, if you can't factor something, that doesn't mean it's always prime. That means maybe you just haven't found it yet. So you got to be careful. You got to list out all the factors and add them and then see if they equal what you're looking for. Don't just assume the answer is prime if you can't find it. I see that a lot, and you got to be careful with that. Alright, let's do a few that have negative signs in the middle. It's no different. It's just this time we've got negative signs in the middle. Remember, if there's a plus sign at the end, the signs are the same in the parentheses. Alright. So let's go list out the factors of 6. 1 and 6, 2 and 3, -1, -6, -2, and -3. Alright, I'm looking for -5. These two give me the -5. So we're going to put a 2 in one and a 3 in the other. Alright. For 4 over here on this right side, the number 4. List out the factors of 4. Now, what am I looking for in the middle? -4. Well, these two numbers give me -4, so we're going to have a -2 and a -2. Alright, let's do the next one. Alright, now the sign at the end is a plus sign, so the signs are going to be the same in the parentheses, and they're both negatives, because that's the sign in the middle. Now, all the factors of 36. There's a lot of them. 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. And then list them all again. Alright, so we're looking for 15. Actually, -15. So if I go down the line and I add these numbers up, these two numbers give me -15. So we're going to put a 3 in one and a -12 in the other. Alright, this one's going to same thing. There's a plus sign at the end and there's a minus in the middle, so they're both negatives. I just got to go list all the factors of 48. Let's see, 48. 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and, what was that, 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8. Then we list them all as negatives. Now, I'm looking for -14. These two numbers give me the -14. So we're going to have a -6 in one and a -8 in the other.